My name is Douven. I am 24 years old and I come from the Netherlands.
Do you remember the feeling the first time that you go in a car?
Maybe 6-7 years old. We went to the Michael Schumacher track. I was really nervous but excited at the same time. Yeah, these bad karts, you have to accept it that it's part of racing.
What is the special things that do these 24 hours? Something that most of the drivers want to race.
Starting young to drive with already the adults and in the bigger cars, it's also one of the best learning schools that you can do. For me, that's the most beautiful thing in karting that there is, when you can celebrate those big moments all together.
Muy buenas a todos, bienvenidos un día más a MundoKart Podcast, este podcast donde hablamos sobre motor, pero sobre todo de karting. Mi nombre es Pablo Cristobalena y hoy damos comienzo a una nueva charla aquí en el canal a principios de este 2026 y como habéis visto en el título, yo creo que sorpresa para muchos, tenemos un invitado muy especial y de hecho hoy la entrevista será muy especial porque se hará toda en inglés. Disculpad ya de antemano que mi inglés no sea el más perfecto del mundo, es un reto para nosotros hacer la entrevista en inglés, pero bueno, como todo, gracias al karting nos traen estos retos y estas superaciones de uno mismo, así que esperemos que la disfrutéis. No obstante, vamos a, obviamente, mínimo los subtítulos estarán puestos durante toda la entrevista, aunque también vamos a trabajar para poner una pista de audio en español doblada para que la entrevista la podáis encontrar más amena y que, pues como hacemos normalmente, al igual que en Spreaker, en las principales plataformas donde también os recuerdo que nos podéis escuchar. También subiremos este programa por dos, en la versión original y en la versión de español una vez esté doblada, para que lo podáis escuchar tranquilamente en el coche como siempre a través de audio. Con lo cual, no vamos a perder la costumbre. Lo primero, bienvenidos a todos, mi nombre es Pablo Cristobalena. Como os digo, hoy damos comienzo a una nueva charla aquí en el canal. Recordar estar suscrito y activar la campanita para no perderos absolutamente nada de lo que subimos aquí al canal de YouTube cada lunes y también las retransmisiones que van a venir a lo largo de este 2026 y también recordad que nos podéis escuchar en las principales plataformas de audio como Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcast y un largo etcétera. Y por último, recordaros que también os podéis seguir en nuestro Instagram y en nuestro TikTok bajo el nombre igual de MundoKart Podcast para no perderos nada de lo que subimos aquí en el canal de YouTube. Y además que vamos a renovar ahí este 2026 todas las redes sociales, que hemos estado un poquito inactivos y ya es hora ahí de que nos pongamos las pilas y empecemos el año con buen pie, así que este año son cambios, pero siempre a mejor. Así que no os voy a aburrir más en esta introducción, os pasaría ya a lo que es la entradilla, pero vamos a pasar al inglés para ya empezar la entrevista como siempre, y esperemos muchísimo que la disfrutéis. Un programa muy especial. Os pedimos ahí el máximo apoyo para que esta entrevista se expanda lo máximo posible y bueno, pues podamos seguir trayendo pilotos internacionales aquí al programa. Así que sin más dilación, vamos a pasar a ese formato en inglés y como os digo, ahí salvarme un poquito con el inglés que bueno, como os digo, es un reto para mí y que bueno, espero que sea lo mejor posible y que todos al final os enteréis y disfrutéis esta entrevista como bien se merece. Así que pasamos ya a ese modo inglés y empezamos la entrevista. Well, now in English, Christian, that in Spanish it's like sound very quickly. I speak very quickly. Welcome to everyone to this channel, to MundoKart Podcast, for everyone that's seen this channel for the first time. Sorry about my English if it's not perfect. It's a challenge for me and for us, for all the team, to do this interview totally in English. So we are going to try to do the best we can. So, first of all, welcome to everyone. My name is Pablo Cristobalena. Welcome to MundoKart Podcast, this channel where we do a podcast of interviews to the drivers in the four-stroke category, and also we do a live stream of this category, principal in Spain, but we hope in 2026 we can go to Europe to expand this channel and do the best we can live stream. So welcome to us. remember that you can subscribe and activate the bell for not losing any episode that we upload every Monday at 8 p.m. And also you can listen this program and the others in the principal audio platforms like Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, and etc. And also for finish this introduction, you can find us in TikTok and Instagram with the same name, MundoKart Podcast, for don't losing any media that we upload a part of YouTube. So we are going to start, like you see in the title. We are with Christian Douven.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
to meet you
it's
too.
A pleasure an honor that you be here, take your time to fly here to Madrid and do all this interview, the hot lap, everything is an honor for us. And well, we hope that you enjoyed this interview.
I'm sure I will.
Well, pues, like I said to all the drivers that come here, I give you your camera to present you, to put in context the people who don't know you, what is your name, how many years are you been in karting, all these first things, and then we start the interview.
All right, so my name is Christian Douven. I am 24 years old. And I come from the Netherlands. So I have actually been karting for almost, I would say, 12 years now. So I started when I was around 11, 12 years old. And really the last 4 or 5 years, I would say I've really been active a lot internationally as well. I guess that's also what brings me here today.
Well, we are going to start for the beginnings. You start at 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the first time that you know the karting, or it's something that when you are youngest, 5, 6 years, you went with your family to a karting or a birthday or something with your friends. How was that beginnings?
Well, actually, I remember the very first time I ever stepped in a kart was just on a holiday. But I don't know how old I was. I was maybe 6, 7 years old. But it was just for fun, On a holiday, we passed on the track, and I was like, I want to drive. But like I said, it was just for fun. But it really started when I remember I got from one of my family members. I got a birthday present. Also just to go karting, just do a heat, just for fun. And we went to the Michael Schumacher track in Germany, in Eupen. I don't know, the people from that area will for sure know where it is. So we went there and just to do a heat for my birthday. And I remember that there was this one also kid, because at the time I was in the little kid karts. And he had his suit, his helmet, everything from himself. Yeah. And I remember we did this heat, and I don't know why, but I beat him. I managed just his time, but there were no weights or anything involved. Yeah. I just know that I beat his time, and you are proud. And I remember then talking to my dad, and we said, okay, let's go karting one time every 3 months.
Oh,
just for fun,
for fun?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Laps.
Because my father used to, in the past, with his cousin, I remember they also went to drive every now and then. But again, everything just for fun. So okay, we said we'd go karting one time every 3 months. So then the first time we did this, I went to a track also very close nearby my house, and you had to get this license because it had different floors, and they said, okay, for kids it's too dangerous to just drive, so you had to go 1-2 hours with an instructor, and he showed you the track and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I remember that then, I don't know, I guess I was also quite quick because afterwards the instructor, he asked me, or he said to my father, like, okay, maybe you should try to come and do the club races here because you were fast and blah, blah, blah. But that, okay, I said to my father, okay, let's do it, just see what happens. But of course, you also don't want to be last. So we started to practice a little for this club race. And again, it was just a very simple club race.
And only for fun.
It was just for fun. There were no weights involved. it wasn't that professional, but okay, it was like a race, so you try to prepare, and so we went a few times more to this track and do this race. But I actually don't really remember what I finished that race, but I only know they had like 3 groups, like A, B, C final. I only remember that I managed to be in the A group, so the top 1/3, so to say, immediately. But I think I finished somewhere at the back. But I think from this moment on, we immediately skipped the one time every 3 months, because they had club races all year, especially for kids. So I think from that moment onwards, I started doing all these club races. And then I think I did that for almost 2 years. I just went to this track.
Only for this track?
Exactly.
Indoor kart?
Exactly. It was an indoor track. It had 2 levels. And I had, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 races a year. And then every Sunday, you had like for the kids that you could practice. So I think once or every 2 weeks we went there and just practice, and then sometimes you had a race.
And that karts was different between the adult karts, like Iran, a kart that was slowly.
Yeah, it was like a kid kart, like a children's kart. So it was a bit smaller, also less power in the engine. But okay, for me it was fine. I didn't know better, but yeah, I did that for I think 2 years, just going to this track. I never went anywhere else. I had no idea what else there was. But I think it was the point where I turned 14 years old, I think. But then you were not allowed to drive in the small kid cars anymore, and they actually didn't organize races in the adult karts. So, once you were past 14 years old, there was basically nothing there anymore.
Oh. And you have to look around another circuit, another championship to...
Exactly. So when I was 14 and I couldn't do those races anymore, I said to my father, okay, I want to keep doing some races, so we have to find something else. And that's actually, I think this was around 2015. I was 13, I just turned 14. And we went to Karting Eupen, which I think is a relatively famous track in indoor at least. And they had these club races every week, every Tuesday, race. So really when I started there, I got to know so many different people. Also the level was much higher. So really from that point onwards, I would say 2015, I started taking it a bit more seriously. Went also to other tracks, to other races, all in junior categories. So that's basically how it started. And then I think 2017 was the first year I also did my first international championships. So it really went a bit natural like that. It wasn't like at one point I say, okay, I start this sport or whatever. It was just because, we went for my birthday party and from there, and now we are here. Yeah.
And in these first years that you're driving that kids kart, apart for going for have fun and take the time and training, in that moment you start thinking like, okay, this is something that I like and I want to do in the future more professional, or is during the time when you start thinking that part, and in this in that first 2-3 years is more only have fun, take laps, I'm doing races to share a track with another drivers?
No, I think once I was doing these club races in the kit karts, I think quite soon I was winning them. So I was fighting in the front and winning most of them. So then I also bought my helmet. I remember I got a suit, the full outfit. So in my head, I started taking it a bit more seriously from there, that I'm pretty good at this, maybe. But in the end, if I look back at it, of course, those races, there was no weight. It was... You could buy your qualifying sessions, I remember. So you just arrived and you could say, okay, I want to drive 2 times 10 minutes for qualifying. But if you were unlucky, you could only do one time, for example.
Okay.
So they were really unprofessional races, but it was already, you know, once
for you in that moment it was very professional.
I was like 11, 12 years old, and I was like, I'm racing, you know. So yeah, in my head I was taking it a bit more seriously there already. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't until I started going to other tracks, and of course when you then go to other tracks, you are not the fastest anymore because you don't know anything. So you had to practice again to become fast, and you know, once you do that a little and you see, okay, it's going better and better, you also get this motivation of like, okay, maybe there's something more here. So yeah, in my head I started taking it more serious, I would say quite soon, but in practice maybe it took a bit longer before I started doing bigger races.
And you remember the feeling the first time that you go in a car when you do when you did the first race? You remember the feeling that you have?
Yeah, I remember it well because, like I just said, I was in the A final, so I already had quite a lot of kids behind me. But then I was in the A final, and everyone had their own helmet, their own suit, and I was just there in my normal clothes, the rental helmet, and of course then I was really nervous because for me it was almost like I was doing a Formula 1 race, you know. The spotlights on me, that's at least how it felt.
A slow camera.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I remember I was quite nervous, and yeah, like I said, I don't think I finished very far up. I think I finished quite low. But yeah, it felt like something spectacular, so to say. But yeah, I remember the feelings well, and that I was really nervous but excited at the same time.
And when you take your first victory, your first win in those first years, as well, you are nervous in this first race, in the first final that you have. When you take the first win, how you manage these feelings? You remember how you react when you pass for the finish line and see your family or father or seeing and celebrating the victory?
I actually remember this race quite well because it's also I think my father filmed it from the sidelines, and actually you can find it on my YouTube channel. I think I uploaded it. Like it's my father was filming from the outside the whole race, so you can find it. But I remember, I started from pole and I built a bit of a gap. The only thing I can really remember well is that like 2 laps before the end, there was like I approached the back marker and he didn't get out of the way. So the guy at P2 closed up the whole gap, and I was stressing. And I thought, no, this is not like now I'm gonna be P2 or whatever. But yeah, in the end, I won the race. To be really honest, I can't really remember everything that happened after, but I just know the videos and I have a picture of me with like a little trophy, and I'm sure I was very happy back then. So, but the exact feelings I don't know anymore.
And you finished that first step of your career, and you go to another circuit. You starting to discover another championship, and you said, I'm going to the track, and now I'm not the fastest. A lot of people like more faster, 1 second faster than me. But in that part, you take more seriously than the previous years. What do you think in that moment when you saw the people are more faster? Is something that motivates you to be better, to improve your skills? You like see what is doing the rest of the driver to like find these seconds, these the correct the correct form to do the turn.
So once I started going to the other tracks, and I think I wasn't like in the back or something, but just in the midfield, but way off the quickest lap times. But I think at that point it just motivated me, and also my father said, okay, because we could do like like these races every week. So we just said, okay, well, we didn't go every week in the beginning, but we were like, okay, let's go more often and practice and practice. And I think actually in my first year there, so I think this is 2015, when I was still in the juniors, I remember in the beginning I was in the midfield, and near the end of the year I already won races. So I really put in quite a lot of effort, and just by going more often there and also to other tracks, getting more in the rhythm, also then driving against better people at that moment is, I think, something that really helped me, but can also help a lot of other people. Because once you have this strong competition, you try to get there and try to adapt to their level. But I also, if you see that you're making progress, that's always motivating to go more and more. And I also think you can, if you, for example, would look at the results there, you can find all of them in the Saudi World Series page. You can see it, like in the beginning, there were no podiums at all. And then in the end, I already was on podiums and doing race wins. So for sure, seeing faster drivers always motivates me to try and get a little bit extra.
And in that training, when you go in that part to the circuit to improve, what changed? What was for you the change that give you that part that to be faster, to be in the top of the rankings? That all the people when all the drivers when we start in this is always something that we change, like the brake or the form that we take the steering wheel. For you, what was the change that take you?
To be really honest, I don't think I can pinpoint one specific thing. Like I said, I changed my braking like this, and all of a sudden everything clicked. I think for me it was just driving time, getting like more and more driving, and like I said, getting adjust to the competition. And I don't even know myself like what I changed in particular.
It's more natural.
I think it just by driving, for some reason it clicked more and more. It also wasn't like from one point to the other that I was in the midfield or more at the back, and all of a sudden I won races. It went gradually. You start maybe P15, then you get your first top 10s, top 5s, podiums,
step by step.
Exactly. So to be honest, I cannot really tell you one specific thing, but I'm sure it's everything together, just overall feeling, I guess. But most of the time just driving rhythm and adjusting to the better competition at that moment.
And when you win your I'm going to say for you your first win in professional race, that race that always I think all the drivers have, that this race is for me more professional because the drivers that is racing with me and I win is like the first victory, the official first victory. You remember what?
Yeah, I think it was so also at this Karting Eupen track, but you had these club races, but they were really high level. I'm sure at that time, I'm 100% convinced that it was the highest level in Belgium. And also if you look in the Netherlands or Germany, like the level that was there every Tuesday, every week was so high. Like I think people that go maybe from way back can know names like Kevin Capras or Simon Douven, who won the Saudi World Series a few years ago. Capras won it 4 years in a row. All these drivers were coming there on a weekly basis. So every time you went there, you were driving against them, and it was still is like the absolute top. So
the highest level.
So I remember there's one race because I was always within these driving against these guys, and I can exactly remember the overtake that I made to win this first race. So even though it was still like a club race, so to say, but the level was so high, you could really compare it to an international heat, I would say. Not like a championship, but for sure like a heat within those championships. You can definitely compare to that. So yeah, of course, I was very proud then. And I think I was 14 years old, 14, 15, that would have been. That was my first, let's say, official win.
And from that moment, you know that you are going to be in the top ranking.
Because I think
that race.
Yeah, because I think this was, for some reason, I still remember the years quite well, because I know that this first win that I'm speaking about was in 2016, and then I remember the year after, 2017. I went to do all these clubs every week, and I think already in 2017 I was regularly on the podium, winning races. I was basically up there fighting with the best, for the race wins. So yeah, also this went quite naturally. But yeah, I remember from the point of my first win, I also managed to keep continuing in that way.
And I understand that when you go to that part that you starting winning races, is appears one thing that all the drivers have is the difference between the cars.
Yeah.
When you discover and when how you start to manage when you discover that are bad cards and good cards that in most of the races makes the difference for the speed or for chassis in the corners. For you, when you discover the importance that the cars that you take in the race is very important to know about the car in a few laps to be faster. How you manage these bad and good cars?
Yeah, so to be honest, I think that for sure the first thing you should always keep in mind with if you would have a bad car is you can always compare yourself to other people who have been driving in that car. So I think you have to, you can be a bit disappointed that you have that car, but you always should try to maximize the result. And you can see if you did that, because if you compare yourself to other drivers, you can always see, were the drivers that were better or worse. But yeah, I also think that these bad cards, you have to accept it, that it's part of racing, because once you start to accept it, you also can quite quickly shift your focus to, let's do everything I can with this card. And also I think a part of this, which I think is if you have this hot lap qualifying system, for example, this is really a perfect system to learn to adapt to a kart very quickly. Because if you, in a hot lap, you only have one lap to learn the kart. You have maybe a few corners in the out lap, and then you have to set a time. So I think that's also what I learned very quickly through all these club races, because every time there was a hot lap involved, and you just learn to adapt to different carts, to different machinery. I think that's how you also naturally learn to deal with different carts, including the bad ones. But I think you always have to keep in mind that you can have a bad car, but then another driver can have it as well. And if you can then say, I performed the best in this kart, you know that you did a good job, and you can still get satisfaction from it, because I think some of my proudest races is not even winning with the best card, because sometimes you win with the best card, but you still feel like I was slacking a bit because it was easy. So, but sometimes when you really maximize a result in a bad card, those feelings are sometimes even better than just winning in a good card.
And for you, is one of that points, important points, that when you're starting to accept that bad cars you are going to take in most of the races that you are going to race in during the career, when you accept that is when you starting to be faster than other drivers because that point, because you understand and accept that that card is will be bad or not, but if it's bad, you take, maximize the result, and for the other races, you never like think about this. Only you drive and take whatever card you have, and you are not thinking like, okay, this is a bad card. When you accept, it's like, I don't know. For me, it's like I have a card. I see the time, and I see like, well, it's a bad card, so whatever.
Yeah, but I think also with bad cards you learn the most, because I think I've seen it so many times. Even this year, you have sometimes championships where during the practice you can choose a card, so it's not like the track organizers choose the cards for practice, and then you see that everyone is just running to the good cards. And I think a good example was CCK this year. It was exactly a system like that, and every practice heat people were sprinting to the good cards, and I was just like, okay, you can do that, but if you in the race get a bad one, you're out. And I always just pick a random card, and if it's a bad one, okay, in practice, okay, you drive with it and you try to maximize it, because I feel like if you can drive quick for the card in a bad one, then if you get a quick card, it will always be much easier.
Yeah.
And of course, if you have a bad draw in general or bad card during a race, it's always frustrating. I mean, I'm also still getting frustrated if you are maybe a bit unluckier than someone else. But at the end of the day, it's also part of rental karting. It's part of the sport. So, like I said, I don't want to say that I'm a saint. That of course, I'm disappointed, or I can be angry or frustrated with it. But you have to deal with it, and you just try to maximize as much as you can.
We usually said here in Merlin, I don't know if in Europe, in Netherlands or Belgium or Germany, said the same, but with a fastest car, every driver is going to be fast. It's more easy, and with the bad cars is where the real drivers or the best drivers like demonstrate.
But that's where you make the difference.
So it's important to train mostly with the bad cards or a random card. Maybe take you the quickies when you go to do a train in the circuit. But when you take a bad cards, is where you have to learn what is happening in the car. If it's the tires, if the chassis, is the I don't know. Maybe what the car need to be.
Yeah, because it's. Especially during championships, it's the bad cards that make the difference. Because, if you have a good card where maybe 10th or everyone can win in that card, it doesn't matter if you win by 20 seconds and another guy wins by 2 seconds, the points stay the same. The difference is made in the bad cards, where maybe you can still manage a P5, 6, 7, I don't know, P10, in a bad card where others finish P15, 16, 17.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden you have the points difference. So you always have to keep this in mind. In the bad cards, that's where you can make the difference. So that's, I think, really important if you want to win championships or races in general.
Totally. And you're starting to races with high level races, and then in 2019, correct if I am wrong, you do the first Saudi World Series in individual.
I think 18.
Doing the Saudi World Series in junior category.
No, juniors I already did. Juniors I already did in 2015.
Ah, all right.
So I did 15, 16, 17 in juniors.
And in 18 in the
then
overall.
I did 18, 19 and 21 in sprint, so overall. And then 22, 3, 4, 5 in endurance.
And how you remember the first time that you go to the Saudi World Series finals? That is like most of the drivers that come here is for them a little bit impossible to take part on in a finals because during the year you have to race a lot of races. You have to win. I don't know if it's 10 or 12.
I think the best 12 results
best
count
12
towards
results,
the ranking.
and then the points inside of your country, in and independent of the country, three two places for the final. How you achieve this goal to go to an Saudi World Final?
So actually the first time in 2015 I wasn't even qualified, but I got a wild card. So from my home track, they had like a free entry to give away, and they gave it to me. They asked if I wanted. I said, yeah, fine, I want it. But remember that 2015 was the first year that I started going to other tracks a bit. So I still had not really a clue, but I just said with my father, okay, let's go, let's do it. But I remember very well that we went there. It was in Paris. And the only thing we just said to each other was, let's just don't finish last. Please don't finish last, because, okay, I thought it's going to be a world final. It's the best of the best. So in the end, it was actually quite fine. I think I even finished, it was juniors then. I think I finished P11, 12-ish from 40. So it was actually, it was actually really positive. So, of course, that also then gives you the confidence that you have what it takes, I would say, or that at least you can put it up with the fast guys. But yeah, that was actually my first World Finals. So I didn't even qualify for it. But for the other years, I always had to qualify, and I did. But yeah, for us in Belgium, it was this track, Karting Eupen, all these club races that I mentioned previously. It were all SWS races. So for every week you could get points. Yeah. So, of course, especially in juniors, I was winning quite a lot. So it was relatively easy, I would say, to get the points. Qualified. Of course, in sprint with the adults, it was a bit more difficult. But luckily, every year I still managed to do it. But also, I have to say, recently, the last few years, I've done very little sprint. So even if I wanted to go now, I would not be qualified.
In this part of junior category, for you, what was the best Saudi World Finals that you go?
For me, it was definitely the 2017 one. So the last one that I did. Because there I managed to win it. So, of course, that's always the best memories that you have. I think the second year, so I always gained 5 positions. So I think it was P11 the first year, then P6 in 2016. And I won it in 2017. So yeah, for sure, those were the best memories. And I remember in the final, because it was also this system where the winner of the final wins the championship. And I was really close with another guy. And the last lap, like 2 corners before the end, we were side by side going down the straight. And it was really, really nerve-wracking, I would say. But, well, maybe not even for me, but more for my father, probably, watching from the sides. But, I think I finished just like this ahead of the other guy.
Finish.
Yeah, exactly. So, but at this moment, I was... Yeah, that was by far from that moment onwards my biggest victory.
For you, how is that part to manage when you are in a final that you are in first position fighting with the second? This is something that more in a world final that is complicated for me, for example, to manage and see I can do a mistake here and get out of the race, or I don't know how to defend perfect the position to or take a gap for be easy win at the final. For you, in that moment, was easy to manage the situation in that final, or is something for the first time that you for the first time you see in your life, that like being in that situation and learn during the race, and is something that you can imagine when you start the championship?
Yeah, but for me, like a situation like that was definitely the first one for me that I ever was in such a close fight, especially for quite a big win, of course. But also I have to say it's really difficult to, one time it goes exactly how you want it to go. But also, though, even this year you get in the same battles. Saudi World Series this year, I was also in a battle for the win in the last 10 minutes, and I lost out on it. So it's not like there's one secret to it, but I think the most important thing is to always keep your head there, because especially these situations are, even when you're driving, it's a little bit stressed. But I think that's also maybe one of my stronger points, is that I'm always quite relaxed. Even when driving, I always have a clear thought and a clear head, that I know exactly what I should do or what I should not do. So I think actually this first race that I won in the juniors, the Saudi World Series, I remember they had this rule that you could only defend once a lap. I don't know, I think it's a stupid rule,
so
but they implemented it. So the whole lap, and I remember I was going into the last lap as first, and, so the other guy was right behind me, and so I had to pick my point to defend. And I remember some straights I just left open the gap because I knew I have to defend in another corner. So this time it worked out, but it maybe if we would do the race again, it would turn out differently.
So you got defend one time in the during the lap.
Yeah. So you had it was on the RKC karting in Paris. I'm sure some of the people listening know the track. So you have like three, it was in reverse as well, and you had like three long straights. Of course, after every straight, you could be passed. And I think one time I just left the door open because I knew I shouldn't defend here, and the guy went on the inside, but I knew I could switch back, and then I have the inside for the next corner, which was then the last corner. And this in this instant worked out perfectly, because he went for it, I switched back and had the inside for the last corner and won the race. But I don't think I've ever seen this rule again. But I also have no idea why they implemented it, but it was there, so we had to deal with it. But for sure it's a bit of a stressful situation.
Because it's not a normal rule, and I never seen in any championship.
I don't know why,
but it's very stressful. Like you are fighting for the championship,
and you just have to leave the door open.
I can defend only one time, so
so.
And then you go to the pass for the overall ranking when you go in the 2018 to the SWS Series. And what is the difference? Do you notice when you stay there with the adult guys and you? I don't know if you in that moment think like, okay, this is the next level. I drive with another type of driver, but with some similarities of what is in here in Saudi World Finals. But I don't know if you have more pressure or it's more difficult to achieve a good result. And difference between the
I would say it's definitely a different challenge, because I think in general also in the, let's say, overall category, the driving standards are a bit more rough than in juniors, so definitely takes some adaptation, but also because the karts are, because the junior category in SWS is with the kit karts. So you move up to the bigger karts, I would say. Of course, I already was driving then a long time before. But these were actually different karts. It was like Sodi RX 250. There were some stronger, more powerful variant. Very cool karts, actually. But to be honest, about pressure, there was, I would say, maybe less pressure, because I knew in the juniors I put more pressure on myself, because I knew that I had the pace to do it already the year before, maybe. So I really wanted to win that one. I also knew that it was my last chance. So when I went into the overall category, it was
less pressure.
I would say less pressure. Still, I wanted to win it. I felt like I had what it took to win it. But of course, you still need to put all the pieces together, which it's not that easy. But yeah, it definitely, I would say it was less pressure. But of course, the more you do it, because I did it 3 years. And after like the third year, I was like, okay, now I'm ready for it. Now I really want to go for the win. So then if you don't win it, always the disappointment is a bit bigger than when you start out in a category, I think.
And you find like more aggressive drivers, aggressive like the minimal space that you leave in a corner. I don't know if in junior you find that, or is more when you go to the overall that like you see that, okay, I can leave any minimal distance with the corner, because two guys are inside or outside, and here the level is more high, but the people also go to the limit in every lap.
But I think that's definitely true, that in the overall or in the adults, the driving standard is definitely harder. But I think for me, I had probably one of the best learning schools in that, because again, I refer back to the club races that I used to do against this very high level. And these drivers, some moves that were made during these club races were so incredibly hard, and also a lot of them over the limit. But if you don't do it back or do it to them, you very quickly learn that you lose out every single time. So luckily I knew this, I realized this quite soon. So then you also start to be more aggressive, and I think for me that has been a great learning school. So that also meant that once I went in the Saudi World Series to the overall category, maybe I was even the one being more aggressive than the others. But you definitely notice that, the even the smallest of spaces are used in the overall category. And I also think that's and the moves are maybe a bit harder just because the karts go much quicker. Because if you can imagine maybe like a small kit kart on a huge track, it's the same like this. You're in Campillos, for example, with the little karts for children. It's relatively slow, so you cannot really make that hard of a move because you don't arrive with so much speed. But if you, with the quicker karts, you can definitely pull off some very hard moves. But there's definitely a difference when you move up to the overall category, in my experience at least.
And this is one of the biggest learn that you learn in karting?
Yeah, for sure. I think especially when you are still young, I think that's something that I also did quite soon, and maybe I would consider a mistake that some others did, is especially when you are still young and let's say a junior, so 14, 15, 16 years old. There were a lot of people from my age at that point who stick to the junior category only for a very long time. And you notice that when they made the step up to once they were 17, 18, it was much more difficult and they were struggling a lot. Whereas I actually started also, while still in the junior category, also doing races in the adult category, that you just learn very quickly. And then once you are reaching an age of maybe, let's say, 18 or something, you already have all this experience that maybe another driver who only steps up to the higher category once they are 18 or 17, let's say, they really have a disadvantage. So I think starting young to drive with already the adults and in the bigger cars, it's also one of the best learning schools that you can do.
And a part of a sprint driver, you also drive with a team, with PF, also with BlueStars.
Exactly.
For you, in what moment you think about starting to race endurance races? How was that beginning of the endurance?
So at these local tracks in Belgium, so I actually live in the Netherlands, but I live very close to the Belgian border. So there were a lot of very good tracks near to my house there. So they also these tracks organize these 2-hour races, 4-hour races, just pretty simple on a small indoor track, maybe 15, 16 teams, which is the maximum that you can do there. And I remember it was just also for fun that I remember that we had a little group of juniors together, and there was, I think, this 2 or 3 hour race. You said, okay, let's just do it for a first time. And I know that there's also a picture where we where our team was, because at that time we weren't fighting at the front, but there is a picture where, because of everyone made their pit stop that we didn't, we were on P1 and we quickly made a picture, you know. But I think I always, from the beginning, quite liked the endurance as well. So from that moment, we just did a lot of these 4, 2, 3, 4 hour races. Nothing big, nothing special, but they were fun. And I think then at some point you start doing 12-hour races, even 24-hour races as well. But yeah, I started just because we thought it was fun, and also a different discipline again of racing, because we were only used to doing the sprint categories. So yeah, and we always saw, or at least I always saw, the top drivers also doing 24-hour races. Then I remember seeing people going, flying everywhere to do a 24-hour race, and I was like, wow, that's also like could be a dream, to do that one day. So yeah, then you also start doing those races. But I must say that for the bigger part in the beginning of when I started racing, I would say especially the part before COVID, so until, let's say, 2019-20, I was really more focused on the sprints. But really after COVID, we also, because we managed to put quite a good team together, we really started doing a lot more of the endurance racing. And that actually led to now, maybe the last 2 years, I did way more endurance racing than I did sprint racing.
And what is the most, what is the thing that you most like about the endurance?
I think first of all, you need to be able to work together with a team. You must like that to also be able to give the wheel to another driver and trust them that he will do a good job and stuff like that. Of course, it's also the driving times are much longer. So I think in general a stint is like 1 hour. So that's different than a sprint, of course. So you should like that as well. And just it's more about keeping your head focused and being consistent instead of going for
faster.
Exactly, for a hot lap, or sometimes maybe wait for an overtake to go on a smarter place to lose less time. Whereas in a sprint, you would maybe dive up the inside the first opportunity you have.
But in endurance, you have to see that
exactly
it's a
get
long
better
race.
Weight. Exactly. So it's more about consistency and not making mistakes. I think those are all ingredients that you have to like. And of course, if you want to go into 24-hour racing, night racing is also a big part of it, and not a lot of sleep. It's also the physical challenge, I would say. That's also something that you would have to like if you would really want to do it for more time.
And you have to adapt or change your type of driving when you race with a team to be all the team like equal.
Yeah, well, it's more like I just said, that you have to really think a bit more about overtakes you are making and focusing more on consistency. No, it's better. It's really better to be 1 or 2 tenths off, but be like that every lap.
Every lap.
If you be every lap 2 tenths off, you will still, at the end of a stint, be further ahead than someone who can do a lap 2 tenths quicker, but then is 5 tenths slower again, and then 3 tenths, and which is fluctuating a lot. So I think this is really one of the keys in endurance racing. But you have to be able to work in a team as well, and to have that, keep that in mind, that the team is also a very important factor, and not only drive for yourself, maybe in specific overtakes that also, like I just said, you can think, okay, I now have to immediately overtake, but if you then cause a crash, or also you can get a penalty, which not only is bad for yourself, but
it's
more importantly for the team. And
team,
you also don't want to let the team down, of course. So I would say in general, you just drive a bit more with your head, because it's not only your own performance at stake, but more importantly, it's the whole team's performance that's on the line there, and you're responsible for that in that moment.
Totally. And as a driver, in the radio, you need a lot of information, or you are a driver like the specific information of the track, the last lap of the second, or the people that go out of the pit lane to control or manage the situation.
No, I'm really one of the please don't talk as less as possible. Like, just some important information for sure, but I really notice if I have to start to explain whole stories, I really don't like it, and you can see it in my times. I think in recent years, especially with the race box, and then the phone on the steering wheel, I think it's a massive change in especially endurance racing, because you can basically see all the info on your steering wheel, except of course what others are doing, or maybe gaps. But you can see exactly
where
you are. Exactly, you know your last time, your best lap, your delta. You can see you see where you can or have to improve without anyone telling you. So especially with that, the only thing that people or someone would need to tell me is just what the closest competitor is doing, or if we are increasing the gap, or if the other guy is quicker. But in general, I don't need a lot of talking. I don't go well on it.
And when you stay in out of the track with the headset, and how in that situation you tell a lot of information in compare when you are driving, or is most what the driver that is inside tell you, like tell me that thing, but anymore.
No, it's exactly that. If a driver, I know drivers who perform better if you just keep on the headset the whole time and tell them the lap times, or what they are doing, or what the competition is doing every single time, because they lose focus or something if it doesn't happen, and if that's the case, then okay, we or someone on the sidelines keeps the headset on for the whole time. But if a driver is the same like me, or doesn't need a lot of talking, we basically put the headset on the side, and maybe every 15 minutes give a little update on the situation. But in general, you just adapt to what the person that is driving wants. because I know from experience, if you don't want a lot of talking and you just start telling all this information that you don't need or want, then that can be really frustrating and you go slower because of it.
Totally. And you drive with PF that nowadays that team is you are one of the best team in the world. With PF, you win 2 times the SWS Finals in the in the endurance category. How for you that process to be the best was easy to take to be in that point of your career, like go to an SWS Finals like a team, and is what easy for you or for your team, or is something that you and the team prepare specifically when you go to a finals, and is something that takes time, like know you each other very well with a lot of confidence?
I think that last point, what you mentioned, is really one of the keys. So it's definitely not something that it happens overnight, you know. Before we won it, we already did a lot of races together. And I think one of the keys is, like you mentioned, like knowing each other perfectly and knowing exactly what one driver is good at and also what he's maybe a bit less good at. And I think over the years, especially within PF, because we always drive in the same team, we know exactly from each other, like I said, what one person is good at, what he is maybe a bit less good at, and then we don't have to talk a lot, I would say, beforehand. We all know what to do. We all know how we want to do it, or in what situations we are gonna do what. So it's not that we, at least nowadays, do a lot of preparation for that. But I would say definitely in the beginning, especially when you start getting to know each other, you really have to make good plans before and talk about different situations in the race that can happen. Okay, what are we going to do then and then and then? And that will not happen from day one. Of course, maybe if you put the best drivers from all together, of course you can fight for victories. But I would say important to keep it consistent as well, which I think we have done for quite a few years now. You just have to get to know each other well, and I think that is really one of the keys also as to why we have managed to win so many races. Also maybe even races that we should not have won, or that we maybe purely on pace were not the quickest. I think we always, by not making mistakes and doing the right things at the right time, we still managed to get very good results.
And when you won the first World Championship in SWS World Series, obviously for take that moment, you win previous races during the year before. But I understand that when you won a World Championship, is like most the first one is very special.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember when that last laps that you know that you are going to win all the team?
But that's the thing. We didn't know we were going to win, because it was. I will never forget these laps because it was in Slovakia 2023, and it was very close between ourselves and the Italians, PFV. Very quick team, very quick drivers, and it was the last stint, and my teammate Dennis Huller, he was doing the last stint, and I remember we came out and we had, I think it was like 20 seconds lead, but there was still, I think, 45 minutes or 40 minutes to go. And I remember looking at the lap times and the outlap and the sector times, and we were all like, this is gonna be problems. This is gonna be a problem. And I remember the first few laps, I can't tell you exactly, but it was really, we lost a lot compared to them. So they were gaining very quickly, and we were like, oh no, this is all going wrong. And then, after a few laps, it got a bit better, but still, every lap we were losing time. They were, I think, coming like.
But in the first laps, like
we already
too
lost.
much.
Yeah, we lost already. Maybe, I don't know, 3 seconds. And then every lap after that, it was like, I think at least 3-4 tenths that they gained. And I remember that at some point there was because we were there with all of our parents and stuff. And everyone was just gone because there was only one teammate, Niklas, who was still having the headset with Dennis on track. I remember me and I was with Vika. We just walked on the parking lot. We couldn't watch anymore, and then we were walking, and then we could see our parents on the other side of the parking lot, and then everyone was gone, and it was just Dennis driving, but we could hear the commentators.
Then he's like, "Where is the people? Why am I alone?"
And it was just Niklas with the headset, and we could hear the commentators, and again, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and I was like, "No, this is not happening." So we weren't sure at all that we were going to win, and in the end, we. It was only, I think, 2-3 laps before the end where we could really say, okay, if we don't do anything stupid now, we have it in the bag. And in the end, we won with, I think it was 2.7 seconds. Something in the 2 seconds we won. So, as you can imagine, especially with the stress that went on before that, the relief was huge. And of course, the way we were happy and the joy of the victory, it's something I will definitely never forget. And I think for me, that's also one of the most beautiful things I would say about endurance racing is that you can really celebrate victories with a team. You know, that when you win these kind of races, that everyone is happy. Whereas maybe if you would win a sprint championship, it's you that happy, but maybe your friend or everyone else is unhappy because they also wanted to win or whatever. But I still, this moment that we crossed the line and we won it, and you know, it was especially for our team and our team manager. This was such a big goal. It was everything to him, and therefore it was also everything to us. So still when I look back, remember these moments, it's really one of the maybe still even the best victory that I can remember.
And in that moment, when you pass the finish line, you know that you win, starting celebrate. When the celebration finish and pass 2, 3, 4 days from the that race, that iconic race for us, for you. In that moment, you know that the next year we have to do better. We have to be most faster that if we could, or is something like this year is perfect. The next year we will see if go right, perfect. If it's not, no problem, because we achieved that goal that not all the teams that are in Saudi World Series, that is a lot of, take that opportunity to win.
No, I would say that we were, of course, like the goal was achieved, I would say it like that. But then the next year it was announced that it was going to be at Karting Genk. And this actually immediately put it a bit more pressure on it again, because Genk for myself and for Vika as well, you could say it like a home track. It's not like we go there a lot, but it's only like 30 minutes from our house. And you know, compared to all the international teams,
totally, that you can train.
So then immediately everyone said, oh, it's their home track, you know. So that even though you don't want to, you still are like, okay, well, you know, we have to perform again. And not only because of that, because also if you go into an event as the reigning champion, you don't want to then leave the next event as P15, or, you know, you still want to show that, okay, we won this rightfully. and to show that again. So I would say once the next event came in Genk, we put quite some pressure on ourselves again to win it, because we felt like we had some kind of obligation to do so. But of course that's easier said than done, because even though we knew the track maybe a bit better, it's also not that Genk is a really difficult track. So we knew that all the competition will also be really fast. But this was again maybe a bit more of a difficult race, because there was rain involved as well. But I must say that I think this particular race, purely for myself, was maybe the best race that I've done in my life that I can remember. Because I don't know, it was raining and it was just going really well every stint that I was on track. Of course, I'm not saying that I did it as really not, because you always do it as a team. But yeah, this race that we then managed to win it again was really really cool. And I think we were also, if I remember correctly, I think it was also the first time that a team defended the title the year after. So yeah, this was again amazing, of course. Also a bit for me personally, because I felt like I did, I was really proud of the job that I did there. But in my opinion, I think the emotions that we felt from the first one in Slovakia were still a bit different and a bit more special, I would say.
Obviously, because it's the first one, no?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
with the stressful that in that
Exactly.
final laps, that
exactly
40 minutes that
that's
so stressful, and
I can never repeat it again.
and so you win the second Saudi World Finals. When the team win that this second world champion, when you go from that moment when you start going to another circuit to do 24 hours, 30 hours, you notice that you have more pressure because the people around or the teams are that is like, okay, PF is coming, they are going to win or in the second place. You notice that pressure of the rest of the grid, or is something that you have to isolate of all that things?
I must say that I don't think that there was. I mean, of course, people know it, but it's not like it was told to us every time, PF or whatever. That's also because the teams that you drive against in the Saudi World Finals, you meet the same teams in all these 24-hour races every year through and through. So it's not that in that sense it's anything that they put pressure on ourselves. Of course, that's always as a team. Then if you win a championship like this, the first thing that you always don't want is to have a really bad race and in our case maybe finish outside the top 5 or whatever, because that would for us then be considered a bad result. So you always it's more pressure, I guess, you put on yourself, that you want to keep being on the top for as long as possible.
Okay, more than the
I think I don't think we really feel pressure from the outside in that sense. Of course, sometimes there are teams that when you're live, then they say, "Oh, now we already know who won" or whatever. I'm not saying that. Sometimes that happens, also just to have a bit of a laugh, because I don't want to sound arrogant or whatever. But I think in this sense we also are very mature enough to just say, okay, they can say that, but we know that it's not that easy, and that isn't that easy, because also we have been beaten many times, and we know that the competition, that our closest competitors can be just as strong as us, or on the day maybe even stronger. So it's never a given that you will win, or that you will be on the top for years and years. So Yeah, I think we don't put any pressure, or we don't feel pressure from the outside. You just put a bit of pressure on yourself to try to do as best as possible. But you do that every race.
Yeah. Okay. And we are back to the as you as a sprint driver.
Okay.
You you won the last Paquetes Cup 2025.
Yes.
It's a chaotic in some parts event for the rain that a lot of people can see. For you, when you come for the Paquetes, obviously you know the track for the 3 hours of Capillos, and the last SWS Overall Final, like you take the second place, if I'm not wrong. So it's a circuit that you obviously know. Also, Vika, your teammate, stay in the take part in the Paquetes, and here one question that is important, and I say a lot of most of the drivers that come here and take part in a race that his teammate stay in the same race. When you race with Vika in a team, is like the you race like a team, all is good, perfect. But when you race against Vika in the in a race that you are enemies in the good way, and how is for you? How manage this situation when you are racing with a teammate? Like you be more aggressive with him because. Is like confident, and obviously each other know you, and he know how drive the other person, and with that confidence you can attack the position with more aggressive than the other drivers, or is more like, okay, it's my teammate, so if he won the race, it's okay, perfect, we are going to celebrate together too.
It's I have to say it's definitely more of the last that you said. Because especially with Vika, he's not only my teammate, but also one of my best friends, I would say. So it's not like, of course, you don't really want to be, I guess, battling for. Well, it has two sides, of course. On one hand, it's cool to battle against each other, but on the other hand, it's also you try to avoid it as much. But I must say that. Don't think we ever had any problems. If we were together in a race and we were fighting, you just do that like you always would. But definitely, I think that from both of our sides, you maybe go, let me put it like that. You first go a bit easier, you don't go more aggressive. Because this I don't want, and I also don't think he wants to to crash each other out or whatever.
Well, I can say that if I race with a friend, maybe if he is front of me in the next turn, maybe he crossed the circuit.
But it really depends on the situation as well, because obviously. Especially if we know that one of us is still in contention for a championship win or whatever. The last thing you do is really attack each other. And I can also say that in the past, we've helped each other as well. If for example, for some reason, he is still in contention and I'm out of it, but we still find each other on track, I will happily give him the position. I don't care. And he has done, and I know he would do the same thing as well, the other way around. And he has done also in the past.
This is cool, eh?
Yeah, but I also really like this because, we just have a lot of respect for each other. And I think we can genuinely be happy for each other if one of the other wins a championship. We always, if it's possible, we try to help each other. Of course, if we are both still in contention for the win, you still go for your own chances. But I think even in the final of Paquetes Cup, for example, we were for a bit together on track. Also, accompanied with a lot of other guys. But he tried to push me a little, whereas maybe with other guys he would have gone for the overtake immediately. So we always try to maximize the results for both of us, and if we can help each other to do that, we will happily do that, and we will be celebrating together after for sure. Of course, if you always want to win and you are always a bit disappointed if you don't win, that's normal. But I will definitely I will never hold any grudge, or if I don't win, one of my teammates, and especially Vika, is probably the first one I would want to win otherwise.
And how you manage the Paquetes Cup? Because like I said, the people could see that the race, all the races, or the most of the races was in rain, in extreme conditions in some parts. A lot of drivers like away in some corners. So like you said before, when we are in the circuit, that it's very important, like, to qualify very well in the for being in the top of the in that top 5 that is more smooth and easily to don't have any accident than if you take part in the grid like 12 or 13. Obviously you are going to be in trouble with another guys, because all the drivers want to be in top and gain position as quickly as possible, and in that race condition is very difficult, because it's only one part of the track that you can go, the exterior part, not in the inside. So how do you manage all this event, because a lot of races, a lot of sprint races to be in the final. For you, how was the Paquetes?
Overall it was of course a very positive experience, but I think especially in the rain, it all starts with qualifying, and even in these conditions, it's so important to have a good qualifying and start as much at the front as possible. Because I've also told many other people that I think the key for me to winning the Paquetes Cup was basically my qualifying, because I think from the 9 heat races, I started 7 times on the front row, so first or second, and I never had any troubles in the first corner. And I think already that is very important, because once you go through the first few corners, especially once you're at the front, I think everyone is just happy that they survived, and they just want to pull away from the rest of the pack as quickly as possible. So then you're also not going to have this crazy battles early on. So that always helps to build a bit of a gap. I think for me the key was really in the qualifyings, because I think I also won races, or a few, 1 or 2 maybe, that on track I definitely wasn't the quickest, but because I had a very good qualifying and especially survived, let's say, the first half a lap, I already had such a gap that I could just safely end my race. But it was definitely, though, it was very difficult in these conditions, because I remember my first training session, I went out of the box and I was just wheel spin everywhere. And so it definitely took some changing, or getting used to it. But I also felt quite soon I was quite confident about my pace. So of course, when you're confident, it's always easier going into the races. But there are still, in this case, 9 heat races, semi-final, final to go. So there's so much that can happen. So you just look at it race by race. That's also what I did. I just race by race. Okay, good result, perfect. Forget about this. Now the next race.
And we talk about the final. Like it's totally the another extreme of the beginning of the event, like all with sun, with the dry track, and you when you go to the final, because you are the first one in the overall championship in that moment. You decide what car you want to have to the final, but when you decide that car, it was in the moment when the rain is still in the track, but when past the time, few hours until the race, your final, the track starting to dry, like good, because is come back to the dry racing, but the kart obviously is going to change a lot with between the rain in the rain mode. So for you, when you start the race and you accelerate your car and it's not the best car that.
But I already knew it before my final, because like you mentioned, we already had to pick the karts before all the finals. So I don't know, it was D or E final, so we had to already pick the karts before that. So there were still a few hours in between that and my race. So I basically took a car that I knew was very, very good in the rain. Of course, there was some weather reports that said, okay, it's drying, no rain anymore. But there have been so many occasions during that weekend where that was the case, and then it was full-on raining again. I just took a car that I knew was good at that moment. But then obviously also during the other finals it started drying up, and you just look at, okay, my kart, where is it now? And you look at it on track, and I already saw on straight it was getting past left and right, and I was already, what have I done?
I come back to take
and my father was already, let's pack it up, basically saying stuff like that, and I was like, this is gonna be very difficult, especially because the final was, I know it was a very long race, and of course you have the best level of drivers of the weekend in there, so I was really not looking forward, I would say, to the final. I have to say, especially the first, let's say, 8 laps or so of the race, where it was still quite slippery, like you could take more or less dry lines, but it was definitely not completely dry. And I think you could see it there that I was still, at the start I managed to maintain the lead, and I actually managed to build a little gap, actually. That was also partly due to some battling behind, but the pace there was not too bad. But especially halfway through the race, once it started to really be dry, I was getting past left and right, and I think in 1 or 2 laps I went from P1 or 2 to P6. And I already saw immediately like that they were just gonna pull away. And then I looked behind and I saw that I had a very big gap to P7. So with the time left, I knew, okay, if I don't do anything really stupid, I should always finish P6. So then for the rest of the race, I just saw them driving in front of me, and I was already I was the whole time calculating in my head. And, and I was
Marco wins.
Okay, exactly.
6th position, perfect.
And I saw at the front it was Ilan and Vika, and I knew, okay, he has to be that and that. And I was just like, please, I was just praying for something to happen at the front, And 1 lap before the end, I was like, this is going to be very difficult, because I knew that Ilan had to, finish. Well, the thing was, if Ilan finished second, but then Vika won, I would still lose it to Vika. But if Ilan was first and Vika was second, I would lose it to Ilan. So, and at that moment, they had a bit of a gap to P3. So I was like, this is a lost cause, But then, of course, in the end, the chaos started unfolding half lap before the end, and I was just watching. I was like, please just fly off, Of course, not for anyone to get hurt, but in a sense that I was just hoping for chaos and that everything would still fall in my place. And luckily, I'm also not too proud to admit that in those last few corners, I was a bit lucky because everything felt exactly like it needed to be for me. So yeah, in the end I won it, and I was very relieved, of course. But yeah, I was not too proud of my kart choice in the end. But yeah, I had nothing else to go on except for wet weather driving.
And with this point, with this final win of the year for you, is 2025 one of the best years for you in the karting?
Yes and no. To be really honest, I would not say it's my best year purely in terms of results. I feel like driving wise, I've been as good as ever. I wouldn't say I'm now better than last year, but also definitely not worse. But yeah, of course, now by winning the Paquetes, which is, I think, a very big and well-respected championship, and I think also looking at the level, it's a really good one to win, and I'm also really proud of it. So in that sense, it's definitely a year where I look back on as a success. But I also remember 1 or 2 years ago, for example, where we also won Saudi World Series. I won CCK in that same year. I was very close to win the French rental car championship, but I lost that one to Vika. So there it was close. But yeah, I would also say that year was also very good for me. So yeah, I would maybe say a year like that where I also won the Saudi World Series was maybe a bit better results-wise. But yeah, I'm definitely very proud of this win, in the Paquetes, because I think it's also one of my best wins yet. So yeah, the year was definitely a success, apart from the Saudi World Series. I still have sleepless nights about that one.
And before to pass the hot lap of MundoKart, you won twice the CCK, like you said, with a different type of kart that is not the habitual kart that we can find in the most of the circuit, because the most is Saudi.
Exactly.
But CCK have that particularly thing that is double motor. For you, when you go for your first win in CCK, I don't know if that type of car is something that like is more easy for you. Like it's a type of car that for you is like. Okay,
well, actually, the first CCK that I won in 2022, that was still with Saudi karts.
Saudi karts. I think
so
that was with the bitter.
No, so the first 2 years, 21, 22, it was still with Saudi karts when it was at Jesolo, the track. And then 23, 24, 25, they did it with Birel. So in last year, 24, there I won it with the twin engines of Birel. But yeah, I think these karts, I actually, purely driving-wise, I quite like them a lot, especially with the braking, because you can really attack the brake way more than with a Saudi. Like you can really brake a bit like a two-stroke, also in the rain. But yeah, I think as a lot of people have seen who were there, is that, the karts were fun, but in the rain it was a bit of a mess, I would say. And I also have to say, when it was wet, but it wasn't raining, so the track was just wet, it was actually fine. It was all right. But you notice as soon as the rain fell, then the engines were having a bit of trouble, which is a shame because, apart from that issue, I think the cars were actually very fun to drive. They're a bit lighter, I think, than Saudi as well. So you could really throw it a bit more, drive it a bit like a real race kart. So that was all very positive. But that's just how it is.
And what is the for you for these 2 wins in CCK? For you, what was the key in that moment for take those champion?
I think it's as with most of the championships, I would always say it's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So always, you don't have to win every race, but if you can be on the podium, for example, every race, that's already very important, because I think you can win 2 races, but if you then other 2 races are P10, for example, it doesn't really help you in the championship wise. So I think it's mostly consistency. Don't make any stupid mistakes, also in terms of penalties. Or at the first year that we won, we still had to do pit stops.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you don't want to make your pit stop too short, because then you also get a penalty. Also, just pick your fights cleverly. Know when to maybe push someone and drive away, and when to battle.
Yeah.
But this all comes down together to consistency, consistent performance. Also, like we talked about in the beginning with bad cards, don't lose your head, because you still have to keep in mind that the championship could be at stake here, and every point matters. Because in the end, I've seen so many championships, even for me now, the Paquetes, it's decided on 1 point, and 1 point on P2, 2 points on P3. It's 1 or 2 positions that can change
every race
everything.
matter.
So you have to be consistent and also fight to the end. Never give up, even if you are with maybe a bad card in some lower positions. If you can still gain a position in the last lap, it's vital that you do it, because in the end it can be the difference between winning or not winning. But again, this all comes down to consistency, I would say.
And you're racing a lot of type of tracks around the world. For you, what is the key to adapt so fast to that track, wherever you go, to be faster and win the race? Obviously, with the team, you win the 20 hours of Algeciras, second in Rome, and second in Dubai, in Slovakia, and so you drive for the team, for you specifically. What is for you the key for be faster in a short time? Because you maybe another drivers or people that had seen this is say 1 month they go to previous the career or the championship, and they still 1 month there doing laps, and no, you take the team and go.
I think first of all, what I always do, which is just a small part of it, but I would also, if you don't know the track, just look it up on YouTube, look at some videos, so that when you arrive there, at least for me, that I don't have to remember the layout, that I already kind of know the layout from videos. But I think in terms of adapting, what really helped me, I would say, is driving a lot on other tracks, especially when I was still younger, and I still do it now, but also when I did a lot more indoor racing. Just go to a lot of as much tracks as possible, and because especially in indoor you have different surfaces, different tires, different karts. It's not like maybe outdoor where everything is on asphalt and a sodi. In indoor it can be a lot different, especially when by doing a lot of that, driving on different tracks, you automatically learn to adapt quickly. And I think once you get the hang of this, also, you can apply it to every track you go. Of course, you have maybe tracks that suit your driving style a bit better, or maybe, not so good. But at least that you manage to adapt quickly. And I think you can learn that by just going through a lot of different tracks. Also, indoor racing, I think, really can help in that. And maybe one little thing from when you are driving there on a new track, I would say just look to the fast guys, try to follow them. If you are in the same practice heat, maybe wait for them, see 1-2 laps. If you can stay behind what they are doing, where they are braking, if they maybe take a bit of a different line. And also don't stay too long in a bad habit, I would say. Like if you know that you are off by more than you usually are, then you know that you are doing something wrong, basically. So then you have to see for yourself, am I taking a different line, or maybe I'm not carrying enough speed, or stuff like that. And what I also, that's something for me personally that I do quite a lot of the times is, I watch the videos before, and then but of course from a video it's always different experience from when you're driving yourself. So then once I have driven, for example, a few practice heats, if I know to have a good video of like a reference driver at that track, I always look back at the video, because then you have the experience from driving yourself, and then you can really see, okay, and then it's about the details, because if you look at the video before you have experienced the track, you cannot, because you don't know how it feels.
You see the general part.
You can see the general part, but if you have driven it and then you look back at it, you can really see the details of where you are doing something different than a reference driver, for example. So these are all things that can help, but I think it all starts by going to as much tracks as possible and just drive there and be at the top there. Because then you will learn it, and also keep doing it. Because if you do it for half a year or a year and then you don't do it anymore for a few months or years, then the progress will probably be lost.
Okay, first, talking about the new track, and we are going to pass to the hot lap that, is you came here to Madrid in 2021 to race the 24 hours of Los Santos with the team of super drivers. And then when we are back, talk a little bit about that team and why the number of super drivers. But we are going to see you in the track, how you defended the lap. Here, for all the drivers, the reverse way is new for everyone that pass here in that program. So, but obviously you have to do some laps previous in the normal track to remember a little bit, and we did it, and you are so fast. In a quite 2 laps, you are on times of the best of the circuit. So
I try my best.
So we are going to discover your time in reverse, and how was the experience with Clara on the track. So Christian, we are past that part, and when we are back and finish the program talking about some things that I think is important for the people knows. And so we are going to pass with Clara to see this hot lap, and then we are back.
Hello everyone, welcome to this hot lap in MundoKart Podcast. My name is Clara Novella. Welcome to 2026 first hot lap of this season, and we have here with us, as you saw on the studio, Christian Douven. Christian, welcome to MundoKart.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming here with us to Madrid. You've been here before, you told us. You've been in 2021 here in Karting Los Santos doing a 24-hour endurance race. How was that race for you? How did you feel the track?
Yeah, it was what I remember, a really good race, a cool track. I have to say I'm not entirely sure where to brake anymore and how everything exactly went here. But yeah, I only have good memories from the race. So yeah, I look forward to the lap.
Well, I'm going to give you bad news. This season too, we changed a little bit, and the layout is going to be reverse. So you're going to learn quickly the turns in this timing and the brakes. But we're going to give you 3 laps to first come acquainted to the layout, and then you do the hot lap. So I'm going to give you all a little resume of the format of this second season. We stay with the whole layout, the whole track on the reverse way. 85 kilo weight and with cones on the track, but you're going to spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And we will see if you have coning on the track, you have a free lap, or maybe we give you a tenth of a second plus or less, depending on the advantage that you take. Also very aware of track limits. If you take out the kart of the limit, it's going to be a 2/10 of a second penalty, and if you had a cone, also if you take it down, it's going to be a 2/10 of a second penalty in your final lap time. We will take it seriously later.
Okay.
So everything explained.
Yep.
You're going to spin the wheel to see how many. What's your lap?
Yeah.
Spin the wheel.
Here we go.
And a no cone lap for Christian. That's an advantage for him.
Exactly.
You'll only have to know the layout, and then what we said. You have 3 laps to get acquainted to the kart, and then we will give you the flag to do the hot lap. So if you're ready, let's go to the boxes.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Do it.
We are back from seeing that hot lap with Clara. How was the to come back to Karting Los Santos and racing again, doing a laps there, and that reverse way is something that surprised you in some part?
Yeah, it was nice to be back, and I couldn't really remember the track in the sense of how quick it was or where to brake or anything, but yeah, I did a few practice laps in the normal direction, and it was really cool. It was really fun track. Exactly how I remembered it, in the sense of how fun it was. But of course, the reverse is then something different again. So yeah, actually the lap I think was quite good up until the last corner. I don't know how visible it is on the cameras, but yeah, the last corner I screwed up, so to say. so I think there were a few more turns into it, definitely. But yeah, overall, I think it was quite a decent lap up until that point.
And what is in the reverse way the part that you most like?
I think what's cool is like, well, how should I explain? All the way in the back of the track, you know, the full throttle part. But also because it's blind, it's full throttle, but it's, you know, difficult to know when you have to turn in because it's blind, and especially without a lot of practice. It's basically guessing. So I guess that's quite a cool part. And I think actually in the hot lap it went quite well, that corner. But yeah, even though it's full throttle, I think it's quite challenging as well.
All right. So we are going to reveal the time. We have here always Clara take me the time here in the phone. And first of all, how I put the name here? What name do you want?
Everyone always calls me Douven, so just put.
Okay.
You can put Douven.
All right. This is a new pencil, I think you said, and I don't know if we want to work.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, not for the moment, but I have the backup here. So
Smart.
with this, all right. So I think I write well.
Yeah.
Douven,
Yeah.
right?
V-E-N. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. And V-E-N.
All right. So the time, your first time in 5 years in this circuit, but also this reverse way that is the first for everyone.
Yeah.
And you have a great time.
Okay.
We start with 1 minute.
That's good.
1 minute 05. So you are in the top 3, and is 1:29 of a second. So put you in the second position of this ranking of MundoKart. Like it's very great. I
Right.
give you to sing
All right. Yeah.
in that part.
Yeah.
And like we said in the past season, and we are starting doing in that season, you can take the time of wherever you want and put your time, and then in the next program we organize everything.
Okay.
So if you want, you can take anyone you want.
Anytime I want. Let
Yeah.
me just. Oh. Then I take it off.
I give you this.
Should I take one out, or how should I do it?
Yeah, you can take one and apart
Okay. Then
and put wherever you want here.
We just talked about you, my good friend, Valen.
Oh, Valen. The crazy man.
A special place for him. I'll just put myself.
You, all right, perfect. You drive with Valen in some races that you...
It's like I explained. I known him for, at least I seen him at championship already for a lot of years, and I always think he's a really cool guy. He doesn't speak a lot of English, but he always tries to speak to me in Spanish, and I try to understand, which is very difficult. But with hand and feet, we still manage to make clear to each other a few things. But I always really like his presence and his attitude. So I have good memories about him.
Right. We are going to continue the interview in that final part of the podcast, and we are talking about Santos before this hot lap, and you came in 2021 with a team of super drivers. That the name of the team say that you are one of the best drivers that reunited in a team to race the 24 hours. How was the experience? Because you finished in the P3 in a third position. So you remember the experience? How was?
Yeah, I remember it. It was with 2 Belgian guys and one from Switzerland. So the first part was already challenging because of the language, because they all speak French, and my French is very limited. So that was already the first challenge. But no, I have actually good memories about the race. I remember I liked the track back then, and driving it today, I liked it still. I still liked it. The race was a good organization. I remember the pit boxes inside in the big hall, which is also something quite unique, I think, because I don't remember any race where they have all the pit boxes inside. But no, I have only good memories about it. I also know that it was on my birthday that weekend. I remember I was driving in the night into my birthday. But yeah, I can't tell you all the details anymore. But in the end, yeah, we were P3, so that's not too bad. I think I think for 3 of the 4 drivers that year, it was the first time there. So then I think it's not too bad.
And talking about endurance racing, you have the second position in the last 24 hours of Dubai. That some drivers here in Spain that want to race want to go to race that 24 hours. What is the special things that do these 24 hours something that most of the drivers want to race?
I think it's, first of all, the whole Dubai atmosphere, I would say. I think if you say the name, it's always something, or people have a special thought about it. And it's true. It's a very cool city, a lot of things to do, a lot of big buildings. It's built differently than, I would say, a European city. So that part is already really cool. So the new experiences there, but most importantly, and also for me, of course, it's the track. And I think the track is really, for me, it's one of, or maybe my favorite track, because it's really cool with also elevation changes. And it's really quite a big outdoor track, but it's still a track where you can really make a difference driving-wise. So it's not like an easy track where the fastest kart always sets the fastest times. You can really make a difference as a driver. So I think, yeah, for me, the track is really something unmatched. So yeah, that's really special. And I think then the combination with being in Dubai, nice weather, usually, because this year we had a bit of rain. And organization is always good. Yeah, I think it's definitely, if you have a chance to do it, I would definitely recommend it.
And this year, like I said, you take the second position with a start with struggles. But you and the team, growing up during the race and fighting for the first place. So tell us a little bit of if it does the race one of the most difficult to win.
Yeah, for us as a team, definitely, because I think as PF Racing we have been, so last year I wasn't there, but the team was there. But I think we have done it 3 times now, and I think we haven't won it yet. I think we were 2 times second, and the first time I can't really remember. And I also did it once with BlueStar, and we were also second. And I did it once with Super Driver, and we were also second. So for me personally, I have done it 3 times, I think, and I was 3 times second. So it's, yeah, for us definitely one of the hardest races to win, especially because you have the Portuguese teams. I think in Spain are also quite well known. Matrax Racing. They do all the whole Dubai championship there, and they have been coming there for years and years. So they know the track in their dreams. Plus, apart from knowing the track, they are also incredible drivers. So they are very hard to beat. So I think they have won the 24 hours for the last 4 years maybe. But not this year. So this year we managed to beat them, but we still didn't manage to win the race because, there was another team that beat us then in return. But yeah, I think we actually did a very good race. We had a difficult start, but we drove all the way back to the front. But yeah, then in the end we made a quite rare, I would say, tactical error from our part, where we basically threw away a 50-second lead in the last 1.5 hours. So yeah, that's of course a big shame, because we were all quite disappointed. Normally maybe you would be happy with the second place there, but yeah, we were actually really disappointed about it. But yeah, that's also racing, mistakes happen. But yeah, for us, it has definitely proven to be one of the most difficult races to win, for sure.
And is one the goals that the team have, like principal goal?
Yeah, for
when-
sure. I think for as long as we as we won't win it, we will come back to try it. Because of course, even if you would have won it, we would still want to come back. But you also, it's one of the probably the most expensive race out there.
Mhm.
So of course, it also needs to be possible financially. But yeah, I think for as long as we haven't won it yet, we will do everything that we can to try again the
To
year
try.
after.
And this race, the team prepare different from other races that you do?
I would say not from our approach, no, because we approach every race the same way. But the event in itself and the rules, it's a bit different to what we are used to. Because, for example, normally here in Europe, most of the races, when you have to do pit stops during a 24-hour race, you just go into the pit and there's a detection line that detects your time, and you can see on the screen your time going up. But there, for example, you have to time your own pit stops. So you have to use the stopwatch, and then you have to walk in front of the kart to the pit exit. There are quite some rules attached to it, like you have to walk in front, not next to it, or if you're speeding in pit lane, all this stuff. You also cannot use communication, so it's forbidden.
Oh,
So
I like it.
Yeah, I thought so. So yeah, you have to. Every team gets a pit board, and you like in Formula One or MotoGP, and you can use the pit board. For example, we use like a lamp and some kind of fluo vest. So these kind of things all change the way you approach it a little bit, because you don't have, or you have less rest, because you have to. Because walking from pit entry to pit exit, it's quite a long walk, especially if it's like 40 degrees in Dubai in the sun. You think, okay, it's just a walk, but if you do it like 30 times in a race, it can be quite exhausting at some point. Also to, pass information to the driver, you have to use your pit board or stuff like that. So those kind of things are quite a lot different, I would say, to most of the 24-hour races that we do here in Europe. So based on that, you do things a bit differently, but I would say in a way that we approach the race, or we, look at different scenarios that can happen. We do basically the same as we always do.
Yeah, and a part of this goal that the team have, what is your goal? Like, you won a lot of races, championship. When you won the mostly of things that can do in rental karting, for you, what is the next goal that you have?
To be honest, I'm, like you said, I've won quite some things. Of course, there are many more things to win, but I'm quite happy with what I've achieved so far. However, I think one of the goals that I've already mentioned to you earlier during the day, for example, that's not maybe a goal for right now, but maybe in some years from now, is still to try and win the Saudi World Finals in the overall sprint category. Because from the moment I won it in the juniors in 2017, I said to myself, okay, it would be really cool if I could win all three categories. So for me, when I started, there were only three categories: sprint, overall,
now,
endurance.
Sprint.
You have sprint, you get road tax sprint as well next year. But for me, when I started, those were the three categories. So I always said, okay, it would be really cool if I could win all three of those, because I also think no one has ever done that. So obviously I won the juniors and the endurance already. So it would be a goal to maybe try and win that. However, I would not say that that's something that I will do already next year, or maybe even in the next 2 years, because right now, especially in the endurance part of racing, I feel like I'm in a really good spot, in a good team. not only PF but also BlueStar. We have really strong new drivers as well since this year. So there we can make really good team lineups. And at this moment my interest is more in the endurance racing. If we purely look at that, I would say what we just talked about, Dubai would be a big goal to still try and win. Other than that, I don't have any specific really like specific goals, other than just trying to stay on the level that I am, not only individually but also with the team, to keep winning as much 24-hour races that we can, and enjoy it as well. Because now the last few years I have really managed to travel a lot, go do so many races that when I was younger I could only dream of doing. So on that part I couldn't be happier really in the racing part. So really try to enjoy it for as long as that lasts, because of course you never know once that stops. It can happen at any time basically. So basically that, if that makes any sense. And
with these new categories of in Saudi, what do you think about the sprint, the electric karts? What do you think about that? It's something controversial in some part for the drivers, because most say the same thing, like no sound, like it's boring to drive, but for the other part, is like I see is something that is different like feelings, all happen more quickly in a slow in a short time. I don't know if you have the opportunity to drive.
I have driven in electrical karts, but I think I've only really done races in them maybe 1 or 2 times, and that's also long ago, like I think around the COVID time or even before. So the last few years I haven't really done any electrical karting, but to be honest, I think it's, even though personally I'm not a fan of it, if I could choose, I would choose the petrol karts for as long as possible. But on the other hand, I think it's not bad to introduce something new, try new categories as well. Because in the end, the karts do drive quite a lot differently, with the way you go on throttle and the way the kart reacts when going on throttle and all that stuff. So it's again a different driving style. So based on that, maybe another discipline, if you could call it like that. I think it's something positive for the sport. So maybe even though I'm not really getting enthusiastic about it, that I want to try and really do it a lot myself, I can see why people would maybe like it. Basically that. I think it's a good thing for the sport to try and bring more categories.
Okay, no, I have that question because I saw that the most races or where the electric cars are using, because in Spain I think 2 or 1 track have the electric car, but in Europe it's more common that found
especially in indoor. I think in indoor I would like to try one in outdoor, like just a big outdoor track, like we in Campinos, for example, just to see how that.
Well, in Santos,
I've never seen it.
In Santos, so the games with an electric kart, and I think that
how was it?
During the car 1 lap and a half, 2 laps, no more.
Empty or the battery?
Yeah. So for outdoor is quite difficult.
Because you are on the power, of course.
But depend, obviously, the track, a lot of things. Sure. But it's like the circuit, I think, that see the problem that not doing a lot, and you have to take a lot of cars to do the job that they are doing with the petrol cars. So
I think it's especially for endurance racing. I think it's difficult if you because you would almost need like a double fleet, like 2 fleets of cars if you want to, one fleet that's charging and the other one that's driving, if you wouldn't want to, for example, the 24-hour races. So for that, I'm not sure if or when there will be a solution for that.
But
maybe
it's
I
the
hope.
future.
Maybe I hope. But if I could choose, for me, I would. I would hope to stay in petrol for as long as possible.
And for you, seeing back all your career, taking all the things that you do for that moment, for be here right now, what is the best thing that the karting give you?
I would say friendships. It's maybe a bit of a cliche answer, but just the way of like meeting new people, also from all over Europe or the world, for example. And I would definitely say, like within a team, the friendships that you build. There's also a part that I said earlier. For me, winning something big with a team where everyone is happy and shares this happiness. Yeah. For me, that's the most beautiful thing in karting that there is, when you can celebrate those big moments all together. I think for me it's definitely that, like sharing these big moments together with like close friends and teammates where you have, with whom you have battled so hard to get these results, because you have not only been with them through the good times, but also through races that were less good or bad, or where things went wrong. So then to share these good moments, that's for me the most beautiful thing with it, about it. I would choose that, even if it's a bit, I don't know, cliche maybe.
And with all the races and all the wins, if you have to select one of all of that you said, this is the best that I did, and if I could, I repeat it again and again and again and again.
That's a very good question. Well, I would say maybe the most beautiful victory, and purely result-wise, I would probably say it was the first SWS final in Slovakia. And maybe this year Paquetes Cup was also one that I'm really proud of. I think, and like I also touched on earlier, I think maybe my personal best performance was in the 2024 Saudi World Series in Genk in the rain. We also won that, but I would say purely from happiness of winning the race and the moment and all the emotions, one that I would want to relive again, except the little part before, but after the finish is definitely, I think, Saudi World Series Slovakia, the endurance win. And
I think that all the drivers, in some moment we have a thing that we think to stop doing karting is because a bad race, or is because you are doing like bad result for themselves, like you seen that this is not for me. I don't know if you have in some moment of your career that moment that you think that stop doing that for something.
To be honest, I never really thought about quitting or stopping just yet. Of course, there have been moments sometimes. I wouldn't say not. I don't think I have moments where I was like, okay, this is not for me, or I can't do it, or stuff like that. But I think it's most sometimes where it's like frustration when it's not going your way, or you blame maybe it's bad luck, or maybe it's yourself that you make mistakes, or then it's not because I think I cannot do it anymore or another time, but it's just that maybe at these moments you are so frustrated and you think, okay, I spent so much money here and it's all gone to waste basically. And this is something that I'm maybe a little bit experiencing right now with sprint championships in general, because I've won the Paquetes Cup, so maybe I shouldn't say anything, but I also have so many experiences the last couple of years where I've been from the very first race where everything already went downhill, that I was so frustrated. And it also has a bit to do with, maybe I feel like the especially the indoor scene, it's changing quite a lot, and especially how much you have to sacrifice for it in terms of time wise. You see some people being or already practicing days in advance, and you are still at work or in school, and you see all these. You look at the live timing, and sometimes it can be a bit discouraging. But not to blame any of those because it's their good right to do so. However, but I feel like lately in the sprint championship, it just doesn't want to go my way, and I feel that I have way more joy in the endurance racing. So that's also why already this year, and I think next year even more, I will do less sprint and more endurance even. But yeah, it's not that I'm completely stopping the sprint or whatever. But yeah, to come back to your question, I think in general, it's not that I've ever felt like I cannot do it anymore, but it's just maybe sometimes frustration or the feeling that you get more joy out of other categories or series. So yeah, but I don't think it's a bad thing if you try to focus on something else for a while and then maybe you refine that motivation and you go back to some other disciplines.
And looking to the future, in 5 years, in what point do you want to be?
That's a good question. To be honest, I think in karting, I don't know if it comes back a bit the same, with the question of what goals do you have. I think in terms of karting, there's not one specific thing where I say, okay, I really want to achieve that by then. I think if in 5 years I can just look back on years and say, okay, every year we have still won a lot of races, maybe even won the World Series again or other big races, Dubai, for example. I think then I will definitely be happy, be satisfied. But I also have a lot of other things coming in my life right now. I've just finished my school studying, so I've now got to look for a job, and it's kind of it's all changing. So you also start to look a bit more to your personal life, I would say, and focus on that. So yeah, it's maybe a combination of things, but I wouldn't say that in terms of karting that there's one very big goal. Of course, I have these small little goals that I just explained, but if I don't achieve it in 5 years, I will not look back very sad or anything.
And we talk about when we went to the circuit that with BlueStars, you are like a professor, like academy, karting academy. Do you think that you in the future, a part of driving, is something that you want to try more seriously if the jobs and all the things like is a good combination for you, try to do classes and...
To be honest, right now, I would say not really, because that also basically has to do with, I think I don't know, I always feel like that I'm maybe not the best teacher in I find it very difficult to, from outside of a track, look to someone and see, okay, you're doing this or this wrong, because I think it really depends a lot on the way the combination of how you use the pedals and the steering input, and you cannot see it from the outside. So I always find that a bit difficult, also with these coaching programs that you see a lot. Of course, if you have beginners or intermediates, the first few seconds, those you can easily see, but those last few tenths, I don't know if... Yeah, and I also, at this moment, I would say that there's not really my interest in that. What I would, for example, maybe see myself do in a few years is maybe try to organize some races or maybe even championships. Because we have done it with, or we are still doing it with BlueStar, for example, that every year we organize a few races, just some small 4-hour races, for example. But actually the organizing part is something that I quite like. So maybe I would see myself more doing something in that role than really in the teaching role. But of course, time will tell if it will actually happen or not.
And what is your dream championship? That if you have the enough money to do, or the enough time, like during a week or something, what for you your dream championship that you if you can you
that's a
you
good
do it?
one. Well, I think the first thing, and I've been saying this for a long time, that I would do if earning money with a championship, because I 100% understand organizers that they have to at least get back their expenses. But let's say that this doesn't matter, because then I would first of all scrap all the practice sessions, drop it completely, just put in the entry price, put 2 practice sessions. And I would, for example, if I would do it on an indoor track and I could do whatever I want, I would pick a track the night before the championship starts. In the night, I would change the whole layout. I would put a different brand of tires on the karts. If possible, now I'm thinking of it, I would even get completely a different brand of karts on this track. I would give everyone 2 practice sessions, one in normal, one in reverse. And then we go.
All right.
Because I feel like, I just think that sometimes the practicing is getting out of hand in some championships. Again, I'm not blaming anyone because it's in their good right. However, I think for some people who maybe have a bit less means financially, for example, that if you would limit that, then you can have really a cool championship. Try to, basically what I just explained was just me trying to eliminate as many factors of home driver
that
advantage of whatever.
The thing not equal.
Exactly. You know, if I could really, in my dreams, I would overnight build a new track and do a championship there with maximum 2 practice sessions, and then see who comes out on top.
Well, in the qualifying of CCK here in Spain, we have something not that, but the Joker Lab and that things you can try in the practice just in the day before, but not, I think, 4th, 5 practice session for learn the whole track. But is to train the Joker Lab only, but then the track change a lot. Is in Santos, and the turn 1 pass directly to the we omit the part of back of the circuit, this part out, and directly the turn 1 to the turn 9, I think, or turn 8, I think. And then another change of the track during the session, that the part of entry of box out, and it's only the directly to the turn 8 to the finish line. So it's then when this change doing in the track, it's like when you see the difference between the good drivers and the drivers that practice a lot. And I, in that way, I like this type of.
That's also what I like. I think, of course, what I just explained was really an extreme situation. But I think if you would have a championship where you just say in the entry prize, for example, you have 4 practice heats within that prize, and that's it.
Yeah.
Of course, you then have to think of a way to also eliminate drivers who are at home there and who can do as many practice heats in the months before, because then, of course, it's also not fair. So that's why I don't know if it would ever be practically possible, but I would just like to eliminate all that, because I understand drivers who practice a lot. It's normal that they do it if they come to a track where there are 10, 20 people at home and go there for years already, and you come there. If you then say, you can only do 2 practice heats, it would also not be fair, of course. So in that sense, it's completely justified. However, if there would ever be a way to to eliminate it, also the home driver advantage, that would be really cool. But I like what you just explained here in Santos. That's a cool system. I think more championships should try to do something like that.
Right. For finish the program, the previous guest, Diego Perez, give you for you in that case the question that you have to answer or not. But I going to say you the question that Diego tell, and is what would you sacrifice to win the world championship? That you more the question is not only for money, like is timing, friends, family, all that things that involve to be the best in the world.
I think if you would want to become one, you have to sacrifice time away from others, so that can be family or friends. I think it's also something that I have done, once I started karting, and I wouldn't say maybe family also in a sense, but also especially friends, because if you are away every weekend to do races here and there, there are points where maybe you also think, okay, I want to go out, have a beer, and I'm not saying that I've never done that, because there's plenty of times where where I have done that, but you still miss also quite a lot of time with your friends. So you have to be willing to sacrifice that. However, I also think if you really love what you do and you want to become, like the question, a world champion, for example, these are things that you have to be willing to sacrifice. I think it's all about time. How much time do you want to spend on it? How much time do you want to spend traveling? How much time do you want to spend practicing? All these kind of things.
You sacrifice a lot for win with the team. In these years, you have to sacrifice a lot of time, because you
also
have to
time
do a lot of trips, a lot of races during the year, then prepare the finals, a lot of things that take you a lot
it's
of time.
true. But maybe later, but now, to be honest, I don't really see it as a sacrifice, because I choose to do it because I
because you
really love what I do, and I have a big passion for it. I think as soon as that goes away, then it's also not worth it to sacrifice all that time away. But I think for as long as you have a passion for the sport, you have to do it, but I think you will also be able to do it more easily.
All right, for your camera now, it's your time. You don't know the next guest, but it's gonna be a Spanish driver. Certainly, is the only thing. But you can to your camera say that question for the next guest.
I already have a good question. So, in your whole karting journey, from when you started up until now, which is the one single race or single moment in a race that you would change, and why would you change that?
Oh, great question.
That's my question.
All right, we will see the answer of the next. I don't know how to answer of that question now. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So the
I also
next
thought,
one have to see all
about
the
it.
program like to take with time the answer, because it's quite difficult to answer like in few minutes.
That's the point.
That's
the
but
point.
it's cool. Great answer. And for finishing the episode, we like to listen the tips that with your experience you can say to a driver that is starting in rental karting, that think maybe that is not his sport, because he take 1 year or less than a year and not like be a results or best results during the races. What tip do you or can say for that person?
I would say, first of all, like I also mentioned multiple times here, is try to go to as many different tracks as possible, because that's really where you learn the most. It's not by staying on the same track. You know, I've experienced this myself. You don't learn the most by staying on the same track, but you learn the most by going to a lot of different tracks. Try to adapt yourself. And also, I think really important is not to avoid competition. I think you have to look for competition, even if that means that for the time being you are not winning and you are in the back or in the midfield. But if that means you are there, but you are driving, you're putting yourself up against the best of the best every single time, then you just have to be consistent in that. And I'm sure that after a while you will see results. You should just never give up on that. So definitely look for competition and be as diverse as possible.
Okay, well, it's interesting.
What I would say.
Yeah. And it's totally true that you said, because it's important, like to move, to improve with other drivers, meet people, meet how other drivers do. All that things only you can take that part if you move to different circuit, different championship.
Because it's easy to, or it's maybe tempting to say, okay, I do this or this race, if that means you can be at the front, because you know, maybe the level is not as good. Of course, maybe sometimes in between you can do it if you feel like your motivation is dropping off a little. But you also have to realize that I think in the long run, you will not improve by staying in a championship that you have won already 5 times, because the level is maybe not as high. You will only improve and make big steps by putting yourself up against the best of the best as many times as possible.
So many drivers say the same, like it's better to be in the back of the field than in the top of a field that don't have level.
It's 100% true. It's 100% true, because I've seen it many times where people stay in their local championship or whatever, and you know, they maybe get a bit arrogant to say, you know, or because if then, for example, the good drivers come to their track, even then the good drivers will beat them. For example, I've seen it happening in the past, and I think it's only to blame yourself for that, because you avoided competition. I think that's really the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. And this is a tip for the people that is starting in this. And if you have to give a tip for the Christian that started in when he have 11 years or 12 years, what do you say to that Christian?
It's actually basically the same advice, because I was one that stayed on the same track for 2-3 years non-stop. And then when I went to different tracks, I got completely destroyed by the others. So I would say to myself, from the beginning onwards, try different tracks, see where the good drivers are, what the good championships, the good races are, and put yourself up to that competition from day one. That's what I would say to myself.
Well, Christian, it's a pleasure that you come here with us. It's an honor for us that you be here. When we start this podcast, and during the first years, the first months, like we growing up a little bit, and at the start of 2025, like we put in a list that we have there in the office, your name in like we have I don't know how, but Christian have to be here
awesome.
because we think that you are one of the greatest, not for only win races. For the things that we see about you in social media or when in Paquetes or in another championship, how you see the karting, and this not always is say with words, is in how you race with the smooth, like 0, like strange, like I don't know how to say, but this part like you are enjoying the karting, and is one of the things that we like for a lot of drivers that been here. And you are one of you have to be we say Christian have to be the first international driver that come here. So it's an honor for us that you take the time, take the flight of Brussels, of here to Madrid, to take the time with us. We hope you enjoy it all the day, the interview,
sure.
everything. If you come back in some moment, you are invited wherever you want. When you want, so it's a pleasure.
The pleasure is mine. Really, thank you for the invite, and I've really enjoyed being here for sure.
And as I said at the beginning, now at the finish, I give you your camera for this final ties. If you want to say something to the team, your family, or whatever, I give you 1 minute for your camera. And then I finish the episode.
All right. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Also to everyone from Spain that is listening to this, I really appreciate it, and I always enjoy coming to this country to race. I think there are only fair drivers and very good drivers, and a lot of good championships here. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and I just hope I can continue this way, and that's basically it.
Thank you, Christian. Sorry about my English.
No, don't worry. It's
interview.
perfect. Don't worry.
But like I said, thank you very much for being here with us, taking your time, because we learn a lot with you. So we expect that we can find us in circuits around the world if it's possible.
Yes, for sure.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for all the people that saw that this interview. Sorry for and I sound repeated, but sorry about my English during the interview. I do the best I can, but I hope that you enjoyed this interview, and you learned something new about Christian, about karting in general, and we hope that you enjoy it. So for us, it's gonna be one of the best interviews that we have here in MundoKart. So we hope that, like I repeat, you enjoyed. So thank you very much to listen and to see this interview. Remember that we upload every Monday at 8 p.m. a new episode here with drivers, and drivers that international drivers that want to came are most invited, and you can write us about from in Instagram. Well, thank you very much, and we see in the the next Monday. And to finish, I'm going to do in Spanish to have a good finish. So thank you very much. Y now en Spanish, muchísimas gracias a todos. Espero que hayáis disfrutado de este programa. Disculpar si el idioma, bueno, se me ha atragantado a veces un poquito, pero bueno, esto era un reto para nosotros. Hemos intentado hacerlo lo mejor posible para que podáis disfrutar de una entrevista muy chula en inglés, que como decimos, no solo el karting nos pone a prueba en pista, sino también a MundoKart en estas situaciones aquí en otros idiomas, pero que seguiremos haciéndolo y seguiremos intentando mejorar cada día. De verdad que muchísimas gracias. Esperemos que hayáis disfrutado la entrevista. Recordad que podréis escuchar este programa tanto en español como en inglés. No sé si nos dará tiempo ahí para cuando esté publicado el vídeo tenerlo en ese doblaje, porque lleva un poquito su tiempo, pero sin ninguna duda lo vais a tener subido con una pista de audio aquí en el canal, y también en Spotify lo podréis encontrar como en original y también en Spanish. Así que de verdad que muchísimas gracias por escuchar, ver como siempre este programa. Esperemos que os hayamos sorprendido un poquito con este inicio del 2026, que esperamos que hayáis entrado ahí con un buen pie. Y también que los Reyes Magos, todas estas cosas que mañana vienen, pues os traigan muchas cosas y lo disfrutéis, y que tengáis un año espectacular, y que bueno, se cumplan todos los objetivos y todos los sueños de cada uno, no solo en el karting, sino en general. Así que de verdad que muchísimas gracias, y me enrollo como siempre, como las persianas, así que aquí cerramos el programa. Muchísimas gracias por vernos un día más aquí en MundoKart, y recordar que no solo hay que dar gas en las motos, sino también en el karting. Muchas gracias, thank you everyone, see you in the next Monday.